Ever step into the shower and notice the water creeping up around your ankles instead of draining away? Or maybe your bathroom sink has been getting slower and slower over the past few weeks, and now it takes a full minute just to empty after you brush your teeth. Before you reach for one of those chemical drain cleaners that can actually damage your pipes, let me show you a method that uses something you probably already have in your medicine cabinet. Plain old hydrogen peroxide. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to unclog just about any drain using this stuff, step by step, from a quick single treatment all the way up to an overnight method for those stubborn slow drains that have been driving you crazy for months. And stick around to the end because I'll share a simple monthly routine that can keep your drains flowing perfectly so you never have to deal with this problem again. Here's the thing about most bathroom clogs. They're not caused by some mystery deep inside your plumbing. Nearly every slow bathroom drain is the result of organic buildup. Hair, soap scum, that slimy biofilm that coats the inside of the pipe over time. And in kitchen sinks, food residue. That's it. And this is exactly the kind of clog that hydrogen peroxide handles beautifully. Once you understand how it works, you'll wonder why you ever spent money on anything else. So let's start with why hydrogen peroxide actually works on these clogs, because understanding the science helps you use it more effectively. The 3% hydrogen peroxide you buy at the drugstore is what chemists call an oxidizer. When it comes in contact with organic material like hair, soap scum, or that dark, slimy biofilm you sometimes see around the drain opening, it starts breaking that material down at a molecular level. That fizzing you hear when you pour it in, that's not just for show. That's the oxidation reaction actively dissolving the organic matter that's been narrowing your pipe. Now here's why I love this stuff compared to those commercial drain cleaners you see at the hardware store. Most of those products, the ones with the skull and crossbones on the label, they use lye or sulfuric acid. Those chemicals generate intense heat inside your pipes. On older homes especially, that heat can soften PVC joints, damage old cast iron. And if the product sits in a clogged pipe that isn't draining, you've now got a pool of caustic liquid that's dangerous to you and your plumbing. Hydrogen peroxide does none of that. No heat, no toxic fumes, no risk to your pipes whatsoever. It's completely septic safe, and a bottle costs about $1.50. Compare that to $8 or $10 for a commercial product that might actually cause more harm than good. Now let's get into exactly how to do this. Before you pour anything down the drain, you need to gather a few simple supplies and do a little bit of prep work. Here's what you'll want to have on hand. A standard bottle of 3% hydrogen peroxide from the drugstore. That's the regular brown bottle you'd use for cuts and scrapes. Do not use the stronger concentrations they sell for hair bleaching. Those are typically 6% or higher, and you don't need them. One bottle is usually 16 ounces, which is 2 cups, and that's the perfect amount for a single treatment. You'll also want a kettle or a large pot for heating water, a small squirt of regular dish soap, an old towel or rag, and if you have one, a zip-tie drain cleaning tool or a small plastic hair hook. You can find those at any hardware store for about $2, and they're worth their weight in gold. The first thing you need to do is clear any standing water from the sink or tub. This is important because if there's a pool of water sitting over that drain, it's going to dilute the peroxide before it ever reaches the clog. If the water is draining, even slowly, just wait for it to empty out. If it's truly standing still, use a cup or a small container to bail it out and dump it in a bucket. You don't need to get every last drop. Just remove the bulk of it. Next, pull out the drain stopper or pop-up assembly. In a bathroom sink, that's usually the little chrome stopper that moves up and down when you pull the rod behind the faucet. Most of these lift straight out, or you might need to twist them a quarter turn counterclockwise first. In a tub, unscrew the strainer cover or pull out the stopper. Take a look at what comes out with it. You'll often find a clump of hair and gunk wrapped right around the stopper itself, and just removing that can make a noticeable difference. Set it aside on your old towel. Now we get to the actual treatment, and this part is wonderfully simple. Take your bottle of 3% hydrogen peroxide and pour 1 to 2 cups directly down the drain opening. For a bathroom sink, 1 cup is usually plenty because the pipes are smaller, typically 1 1/4 inches. For a tub or a shower drain, go ahead and use the full 2 cups because those pipes are 1.5 inches and the clogs tend to be larger. Pour it slowly and steadily right down the center of the drain opening. Within a few seconds, you should start hearing a gentle fizzing sound coming from inside the pipe. That's exactly what you want. That's the peroxide going to work on all that organic buildup. Now here's the key. Walk away. Seriously. Let it sit for a minimum of 45 minutes. And a full 60 minutes is even better. I know it's tempting to start running water or poking around in there, but the peroxide needs uninterrupted contact time with the clog to break it down. Go have a cup of coffee. Read the paper. Just leave it alone. After 45 to 60 minutes, heat up a full kettle of water. And I want to be specific here. You want the water very hot, but not at a full rolling boil. Around 180 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. If you bring it to a boil, just let it sit for about 30 seconds before you pour. The reason is that true boiling water, 212 degrees, can stress PVC pipe joints over time, especially on older plumbing. Very hot water does the same flushing job without the risk. Pour that hot water slowly down the drain. It's going to chase all that loosened material right through the pipe. If everything went well, you should see the water flowing freely, draining at full speed. That's a beautiful thing to watch. By the way, if you're finding this advice helpful, you should know it's just a small sample of what I've put into my new book, 100 Old House Fixes That Save You Thousands. It's packed with practical old house fixes that can help you avoid expensive repair bills. To grab your copy, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let's continue. Now, if your drain has been running slow for weeks or even months, a single treatment might not be enough to fully clear things out. That's where the overnight method comes in. And honestly, this is my favorite approach for chronic slow drains because time does most of the work for you. Right before you go to bed, pour 1 to 2 cups of hydrogen peroxide down the problem drain, just like before. But this time, instead of waiting an hour, you're going to let it work all night long. 6, 7, 8 hours of uninterrupted contact time. That extended soak gives the peroxide time to penetrate deeper into the buildup and break down layers of gunk that a shorter treatment might only soften on the surface. In the morning, heat up your kettle of very hot water and flush the drain thoroughly. For most slow drains, you'll notice a dramatic improvement after just one overnight treatment. But if the drain is still a little sluggish, repeat the process for a second night. Some really stubborn buildup needs 2 or 3 nights to fully break down, and that's perfectly normal. On the second or third night, try adding a small squirt of regular dish soap, maybe about a tablespoon, right after the peroxide. The dish soap acts as a lubricant that helps the loosened material slide through the pipe instead of getting hung up on the walls. It also helps break down any greasy residue that might be binding the hair and soap scum together. This combination of peroxide for breakdown and dish soap for lubrication is remarkably effective. Sometimes, though, you hit a clog that needs a little more persuasion. Maybe you've done the peroxide treatment and the drain improved, but still isn't flowing at full speed. That's when you step up the approach, and I like to think of it as an escalation ladder. You start gentle and only get more aggressive if you need to. The first level, which you may have already done, is peroxide plus dish soap. That handles most situations. The second level is where you bring in a physical tool. After the peroxide has had time to soften and loosen the clog, take that zip-tie drain cleaning tool or plastic hair hook I mentioned earlier and slide it down into the drain. These tools have small barbs along the sides that grab onto hair and pull it out. Push it down slowly, give it a little twist, and pull it back up. You'll probably be amazed and a little disgusted at what comes out. That mass of hair and slime is what's been narrowing your pipe, and the peroxide has already loosened it so it comes out much easier than it would dry. Repeat this 2 or 3 times until the tool comes back clean. Then do one more hot water flush. The third level is the plunger, and there's a trick to making this work properly on a bathroom drain. Most bathroom sinks and tubs have an overflow opening. On a sink, it's that small hole near the top of the basin. On a tub, it's behind the overflow plate below the faucet. If you don't seal that overflow, all the pressure from your plunger just escapes right out of it, and you get no suction on the clog. Take your wet rag and stuff it tightly into the overflow hole. Hold it there with one hand if you need to. Then place your plunger flat over the drain opening. Make sure there's enough water in the basin to cover the rubber cup, and give it 5 or 6 firm plunges. The combination of peroxide loosening the clog and real plunger suction is usually enough to clear even a tough one. Now, I want to be honest with you about something, because I think it's important. Hydrogen peroxide is fantastic for organic clogs, and that covers the vast majority of bathroom drain problems. But there are situations where it's simply not the right tool. If you've got a drain with standing water that isn't moving at all, not even slowly, and the peroxide treatment doesn't produce any change whatsoever, you're likely dealing with a mechanical blockage. That could be a solid grease plug, a small object that fell down the drain, a buildup of mineral scale deep in the pipe, or even tree roots in an older main line. These are physical obstructions, not organic films, and no amount of chemistry is going to dissolve them. In those cases, you need to either remove the P-trap under the sink and clean it out manually, or use a drain auger, sometimes called a drain snake, to physically reach the blockage. If you're not comfortable with either of those, that's a perfectly reasonable time to call a plumber. I'd rather you hear that from me now than waste 3 bottles of peroxide and a whole weekend on a problem that needs a different approach. Think of peroxide as your finisher and your preventer. It's brilliant at dissolving the organic buildup that causes most slow drains, and it's the perfect maintenance tool. But it's not a jackhammer, and pretending it is will only frustrate you. Let's talk about some common problems you might run into and how to solve them. First, you pour the peroxide in and you don't hear any fizzing at all. This usually means one of 2 things. Either the peroxide is old and has lost its potency, or there isn't much organic material in the drain, and the clog is something else entirely. Peroxide breaks down over time, especially if the bottle has been opened and sitting in a warm bathroom cabinet for a year. Buy a fresh bottle and try again. If you still get no fizzing, you might be dealing with a mineral or mechanical blockage instead of an organic one. Second, the drain improves after treatment but slows down again within a week or 2. This means there's a larger mass of hair deeper in the pipe that one treatment only partially cleared. Go with the overnight method for 2 or 3 consecutive nights, and use the zip tie tool to physically extract as much as you can. Sometimes these deeper clogs need the combination of chemical loosening and physical removal. Third, you notice a foul smell coming from the drain even after treatment. That smell is usually from biofilm, that slimy bacterial coating on the pipe walls. One peroxide treatment might clear the clog but not fully strip the biofilm. A second treatment focused on the smell, where you pour the peroxide and let it sit for a full hour, usually takes care of it. The peroxide is actually a mild disinfectant, so it kills the odor-causing bacteria as it works. Fourth, the drain flows fine, but gurgles when it drains. Gurgling usually means there's a partial blockage further down the line, or a venting issue. Try one more peroxide treatment to rule out deeper organic buildup. If the gurgling continues, you may need to check the vent pipe on your roof or have a plumber scope the line. Fifth, your tub drain seems to resist treatment no matter what you try. Tub drains accumulate enormous amounts of hair, especially in households with longer hair. The crosshairs on most tub drain strainers catch hair constantly, and it builds up into a dense mass. For tubs specifically, always start with the zip tie tool before the peroxide. Pull out as much hair as you can physically, then follow up with the peroxide to dissolve whatever is left clinging to the pipe walls. That 1-2 combination works on even the most stubborn tub drains. Now for that bonus tip I promised you at the beginning. And this one can genuinely save you from ever dealing with a clogged drain again. Once a month, pour 1 cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide down each of your bathroom drains. The sink, the tub, the shower. Just pour it in before bed and let it sit overnight. That's it. No hot water flush needed, though it doesn't hurt. This tiny bit of monthly maintenance keeps the biofilm from building up, dissolves hair before it accumulates into a clog, and keeps the pipe walls clean and smooth. If you want to go the extra mile, once a month take that zip tie tool and do a quick sweep of each drain before you pour the peroxide. It takes maybe 10 seconds per drain. You'll pull out a small amount of hair that's just starting to gather, and then the peroxide cleans up whatever is left. The whole routine takes less than 5 minutes for your entire house. Now think about what a plumber charges to come out and clear a drain. In most areas, you're looking at $150 to $250 for a service call. A bottle of hydrogen peroxide costs $1.50. Even if you buy a fresh bottle every month, That's $18 a year versus one plumber visit. And your drains stay clear all year long. I do this in my own home, and I genuinely cannot remember the last time I had a slow drain. It's one of those simple habits that pays for itself 100 times over. Before you go, I want to make sure you know about my new book, 100 Old House Fixes That Save You Thousands. It goes deeper than we can in a single video, with practical fixes, warning signs, and simple steps for older homes. If you want to avoid expensive repair bills before you call a plumber, this book is for you. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to get your copy. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.